Hello, this is Mech 330 for Computer Programming in Industry 4.0. Today we're kind of covering classes and modules, setting up classes in a different file and converting it over into the main program. I added a little bit extra, so we got ourselves a GUI interface, which makes things a little bit nicer to look at. But first we're going to cover the first one. On this side, this is kind of the first code I built up. Let's go with time over here, and then for yes, it's AM PM to military time, or no from military time to AM PM. So let's go with yes. What do we want to do? Let's go with 11:55 PM. So it converts it into military time, and to kind of prove that it does it the other way, we'll go with time, and then what is it? No. And then so for this one we will do not 11, we'll do 23:55, and yep, there we go, we got the same answer. I'll do one more. It kind of gets touched on the GUI interface, the graphical user interface, so I'll do one more on this one. So let's do distance, yes, for miles to kilometers, and then let's go with 55, which converts it into kilometers, as you can see right here, and then it allows me to keep looping through. So the graphical user interface was built afterwards, so some of the stuff that gets printed on this side doesn't quite flow right, but I was more focused on the graphical user interface. So for the conversion, let's go with temperature or not temperature. Oops. I gotta enter in my temperature, so we'll go with 32. Getting all crazy over here. Alright, let's go with temperature, and then let's go Fahrenheit to Celsius. So do yes, enter. And then, so that's the conversion, so I can change this and do no, and then do hit conversion. So that's that. What is it? We can do, let's do distance real quick. And then yes. So that's the user interface portion. It's not the smoothest, but like I said, it was built after the fact, so just to kind of add on some skills here. As you can see here, you can kind of adjust things around and make it the size you want. To go over to the code that got built, so we'll first start out with the class. We got our class here. We got, can't quite remember the name of this, but like, let's say like kind of like a global variable for all the other things. True false takes our yes statement right here and turns it into either true false. This allows to kind of change different basically what prompts the user depending on what gets picked, so it helps guide the user through the program. And then we got temperature. This does the conversion, so if it's true, then it goes through that process. If it's false, it goes through the other process. That kind of decides which way it gets converted from imperial to metric or metric to imperial. Distance, pretty much the same thing, just different conversion values. Time's a little bit more trickier. How I broke this up was I broke it up into like 3 pieces. So there's the first 2 values, the middle 2 values, and the last 2 values. So that first picks out the AM PM, and then it decides. So if it's like AM, it's fairly straightforward, but if it's PM, it's got to like subtract the 12 off and stuff, and basically does all the math, and then it builds up the code to military time right here. And so you got military time, and then it adds the TB, which is time beginning, and then time middle. And then kind of the same process here, just in reverse. And then and then it tacks on the AM, PM, or AM or tacks on the PM. And so that is our classes for the program. So this is the main one. A lot of it's, print statements to kind of guide the user through, and then depending on those, it gets inputted into values. So like for metric, and as it goes through, the if statements kind of gives example to help guide the user on what exactly you want them to type through. And that is that for the main program. And then if we go over here, this one's a little more extensive than the main program because of the graphical interface. So I use the tkinter as the thing. We got hyphen width, so this is kind of what size it brings in on when I run the program. Test function, little poorly labeled, shouldn't be called test function, but this is it started out as a test and then I built off of it. But basically takes in the information, this is kind of like the main code in this part, and then it gets outputted onto the label. So the input values is from the button press, and then the output's the label. So root and root main loop, that's where the interface has to get sandwiched in between. So we got canvas, helps build up the canvas, or like the canvas size. Backgrounds, pretty straightforward. Frames are these like outer boxes, helps a lot of layout things. Entry is the one right here where it allows me to just type things in. Button, this is kind of where the magic happens. So if we go over here, we got Lambda, which Lambda basically, in a nutshell, allows me to keep putting in values. Without that, it would just run it once. I'm pretty sure it just runs it once and then won't run again. So, and then the output values for the get function up top that I was talking about. And then, yeah, so just mid-frames, labels, so there's these labels here, and then I got the blank label down here, right here, which is where it outputs the value. And I think for the most part that kind of covers it up in a bit of a nutshell, a little bit of a quick overview of the code for this week. And that is my code. Thanks for watching it through.